Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We've got an awesome show today. We're really excited because Jason Morris is here. Jason is the founder of the Facebook group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work. Really, in all caps. Just in case you didn't believe us, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, in all caps, which I find endlessly hilarious. And so we're going to talk with Jason about getting set up for 2017. And some of the cool things he's doing. We're going to answer a couple questions from his Facebook group. So this is a lot of fun. So if you guys don't know already, just go to Facebook, type in Real Estate Agents That Really Work into the search box. That's the easy way to find it. It'll pop right up. It's got just past over 3,000 members. So I wanted to give people an opportunity to go find another resource for where they can find information on how to do their what they claim to do better.
Work.
Right? My co-pilot, my partner in crime, the junior grandmaster himself.
Oh yeah, like that evil four-letter word, work. Oh Christ Almighty, really? Oh no, don't cuss at me. I have to go to work today. Oh my God, dude. Okay, so I was doing some numbers, and speaking of work, all you lazy butts out there, I am putting Matt and I just got back from South Carolina, and Matt, you are back in the box, dude. You're back in the box.
It's scary.
It's scary.
When you're out of the box, well, you're the one that's scary. When you're out of the box, you're like 6'5", right? Right here, we're at a nice, even level. You're very manageable. It's a lot easier to wrangle.
That's because you can mute me.
Yeah, I can't mute you in real life, and I can't talk over you, and I can barely reach the top of your head.
You're like, hello, you tall thing, you. No, okay, so I was doing some calls, and Midori and I on my, dropped the pen. We've been doing some calls. Yesterday, I got this epic dickhead. And I don't know, usually I can handle a rude person on the phone, but this dude got under my skin and I lit him up. And I was rude and I was insensitive and I shouldn't have done it and I had to apologize. So I'm coming truthful to you guys. I lost my cool yesterday. I did not like myself very much, but that's one out of a ton. So check it out, guys. Midori and I are doing our calls. We have after Matt and I got back from the South Carolina, I have made a personal proclamation that I want to do between 40 and 50 deals personally generated through me in the next 12 months at the tail end of 2017. Now, my goal is I've divided up a ton of different areas. Eileen is going to do some calls into the southern part of our marketplace. Midori and I are going to call into the northern, which she and I have about 100,000 homes to cover in our northern territory. Eileen has 43,360 to call through. And so check it out. My mojo numbers here, just this month, guys, I've dialed 917 minutes. 917 minutes of dialed time, 3,169 total calls, 302 people I made contact with, which is a 10% connection rate, and I only put 2% or 48 people to the do not call list. So I'm going to keep up with you guys and let you guys know what's going to happen, but I'm showing you guys what I'm talking about, I'm doing. So I just want to make that clear because it dovetails right with that horrible little word called work, because I want to make a difference in my career, my income, and show you guys it's not that hard.
That's right. And speaking of real estate agents that really work,
Jason
Morris. Jason, welcome to the show.
Hey guys, how are you today?
Good, man. So first of all, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. So we ran across each other in multiple ways. Actually, it's funny. So Jason, you came across my radar somehow. I think we were introduced or something. You reached out to me, and then somebody nominated you, I think, to be on a couple of podcasts, and you're like, well, of course, and of course I'm the one that books for half of those podcasts. So it's funny, we were introduced or made contact in several different ways, all right around the same time. And then I was on a call with a vendor, I think it was Z-Buyer or someone like that, and they're yeah, do you know that this guy Jason Morris, he's doing a lot of stuff lately. We really like him. I'm like, yeah, I just got off of the call with him the other morning. So obviously, Jason, you're doing some cool stuff, and people are really getting a lot of value out of what you have to share, which is why I want to bring you on. But I don't think a lot of people know your story. I definitely didn't know who you were, even though you've been super successful in the business. So catch the rest of us up and give us kind of the 60-second bio on who you are, where you are. And what
So yeah, the 60-second bio. So I've been in the real estate business for about 12, 13 years in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I really got started. I got introduced to Mike Ferry really, really early in my career, and just really embraced the whole get on the phone and calling people thing. And sold a ton of property. 2007 came. 2006, I thought I had life figured out. 2007, I realized that it wasn't like that. So I had to shift gears a little bit. And I started a property management company, and instead of calling people going, hey, can I list your house? I was going, hey, can I call people to rent your house out? Because the market here we were in a free fall. You call today and somebody would say, hey, I owe $200,000 on my house. And you go, hey, well, I'm sorry, I can get you like 80,000 for it. Ooh. And so those calls changed for me. Instead of listing the property, I was calling to list the property as a rental and manage it. So a few years later, I had a team of buyers agents, and I had a couple hundred properties I was managing. So I was doing a tremendous amount of business between the sales and leases. I'd done that for a few years. Man, it was 7 days a week, like 20 hours a day. I'm pretty sure I had a stomach ulcer. I was scared to go to the doctor for it. Ended up getting divorced, taking a little bit of time off. And when I got back in the business, I said, hey, I don't want to do all this stuff anymore. So I really just kind of adopted the mindset where if it's difficult, I'm probably not going to do it. And if it's, the simpler things are, like I feel like agents get so bogged down in things like, hey, making sure everybody goes into your top producer account, So I really kind of dumbed things down myself. And for a long time, my CRM was actually like a spiral notebook. And it's still, it's still pretty close to that. It's not a long ways from that.
That's very similar to Greg. Yeah.
Yes, so, actually, I'll show you my organizational skills later after we get done hearing about Jason.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you know what? I'm doing this call with you in the dining room because my office is embarrassing. There's just like stacks of stuff sitting around. So, so I was looking around my house, going, "Where can I do this at that's going to be the least embarrassing for me?" Because I don't want you to see all my stuff sitting around. But like my good leads, I print them out and I put them in a pile, and I just keep calling through those people until basically those people die, or they sell their house or disconnect their phone. So. But I guess about a year ago, I started like sharing a lot of the stuff I was doing in groups on Facebook, and it was selfish. It was selfish because I was doing it to hold myself accountable, and talk about the things I was doing. And then I realized like, hey, I started developing a little following, and then I created my group, and then it's kind of took a life of its own a little bit. It's been pretty cool. And I feel like I've helped a lot of agents. I've been doing some workshops and doing all kind of stuff. I'm just giving everything away. I have nothing to sell.
That's kind of like, well, that's like me and Matt. That's what we're doing. You have a heart of giving, just like we do, and it's because you and I and Matt, we've all experienced downturns in our life, and they epically suck balls. And you never want, if you had to go through it, right? Like we've gone through shit, like the shit you never want to ever have anyone else go through. So you're like, okay, how can I prevent this? How can I help Matt, Julie, and his 3 obese little babies, not be put on the street? They need their insulin shots. So we give from a heart where we never want to see pain again. And I think it's so rare in this industry. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
Make a dime, make a buck.
And there's like, and there's fake training out there. There's training that's designed around buzzwords just to go out and sell you a product, but the person that designed it, they never sold real estate. The product and the service isn't proven, and I've seen a lot of that too. So I started like sharing more, so that's how I ended up here with you guys today. I kept feeling like, hey, if I just keep doing this, something cool is going to come out of it. Also, so that's what I've been doing.
Oh, by the way, I'm a huge fan. I didn't know, I wasn't up to date on exactly your background like Matt was, but I am always reading the posts on your Facebook group, by the way. I think they're awesome. I think they're cool. Great content on that thing, man.
Thanks, man. I feel like it keeps getting better. If you listen to like the first ones I've done, and then the last ones, I feel like they just keep getting better. I got this guy that just started working with me up in Greenville, South Carolina, and he's a brand new agent. And we're going through and we're gonna like document the first 90 days of him being in the business and working with me. So we just did the first interview today, and man, he started working with me like 2 weeks ago. He set 5 listing appointments this week.
Whoa. Good.
He's using my scripts. He's only calling from Red X. He doesn't even he's not using a dialer. He's literally he's in Greenville, South Carolina. His name's Matt Rodriguez.
You want to lease him out to me?
Maybe. Well, he's an agent. He's an agent up there, so he's calling for himself, and he's crushing it. So a lot of the stuff that I've been sharing, it's like, man, I've got like probably 100 of those stories, just like Matt, though, that started using my scripts and dialogues and my pre-listing package. And the thing for most agents, you guys have seen this, most agents just don't have a plan. They don't have a schedule. They don't have a sales system,
It's so true. What did you do? When did you realize that what you were doing was effective? I mean, what was that aha moment where you're like, oh, that did work, 'Cause it means
for me, it was, I had a Mike Ferry coach at the time. This was years ago, and he kept telling me I had to do a pre-listing package, and I felt like it was kind of stupid, And then I started realizing my big aha moment was with the pre-listing package was I was sending them to people, and I'd follow up with them, and nobody else had one except for me in my market. I think I was the only Myrtle Beach agent with a pre-listing package.
Really?
And and I see it all over the country. I mean, even in the really, really competitive markets, I'd be surprised if more than 1 or 2% of agents really have something they can easily send a client or potential seller that has basically a list of the basic services they're going to provide. Mm-hmm. And and a lot of the companies out there, the big franchises, they'll provide them one, but man, it's 50 pages. None of us look at 50-page PDFs.
No.
We just hit delete on that thing. So so when I started, I was going on listing appointments against these guys in my market that were, they were superstars, and I was getting listings over them. And a lot of it was because I was the only one sending a pre-listing package. I was the only one that was sending out my net sheet and all the stuff. I was the only guy showing up like prepared to do business,
Treating it like a business. Shocker.
Yeah. That's
unbelievable. What's something that you did that I don't think you realized that you did, Mark Cuban is an expert at doing this, is looking for the gaps in business, looking for the things where you can plug the hole and feel a want or a need, or looking what your competitors aren't doing and go do it. Obviously, if running around streaking through the streets of Myrtle Beach is not going to get you listings, but I mean, if you can do anything that's going to be ethical and business minded and everything else that can give you a leg up, people don't look for that. They always do what everyone else is doing. They hunt in the red water, and they never go hunt in the blue water, and would be willing to stand out a little bit. So huge on that.
I've told agents, and I don't know if you guys have ever done this. Have you guys ever done like a real market analysis, like a true market analysis to figure out what's really selling in your market?
Mm-hmm. I do it about once a quarter. I go back and look at everything that's sold by property type. Yeah. List date, sales date, what the list price to sales price is, and you can actually take that data, upload it into Batch Geocode. It's a free mapping site. Then you can pay for it, and you can overlay it and color it, and you can literally see your market shift like a living thing.
No kidding. I didn't know that, man. I'm not that advanced. I was just uploading mine in an Excel spreadsheet. How excited I was about it.
But like both me and Greg, we need, at least when it comes to numbers and spreadsheets, we need that translated into buttons and colors.
Yes. Oh my God.
But like a lot of agents don't realize, if they'll spend the 4 hours that's going to take this afternoon and do that, they're going to find holes in their market. Mm-hmm. They're going to find things. I mean, there was a little area in my market where I realized that 90% of everything listed under 100, my market's not as expensive as yours, so when I talk about my numbers, they're probably lower, but, under $125,000, 90% of the listings sold in there. And then you looked at the 10% that didn't sell, and it was like, you could see the sky through the roof. I mean, they were in really bad shape. Predict
the weather from inside.
Yeah. So what I did was I took that information I found, and those expireds, those for sale by owners that come up in that little area, man, I am all over those people because I know there's like a 90% chance I'm going to get a paycheck if I list their house. Mm-hmm. So, and a lot of agents have never done that in their market. When I talk to them about it, they look like they respond like I'm talking about rocket science, I'm talking about wizardry.
The dark craft of analyzing a market.
Yeah, I mean, but a lot of us, we just jumped in the real estate business, and there's a lot of agents that, man, they were working at, Kmart the week before they started selling real estate, and
mm-hmm.
and it's like just.
He's like that jerk off, there was back in like the heyday that he went from delivering pizzas, saw a win in the mortgage industry, got in, he was making $5 million a week and wasn't really doing anything. And he did exactly what you're talking about. Went from delivering pizzas, no name, no education, out of the country immigrant, and then he was one of the guys who was doing all the subprime shit. And oh God, you gotta love yourself a professional. Sorry, I had to get that in there because there's so many fools out there, man.
Yeah, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with delivering pizzas or anything, and that person can't be successful because they can, but a lot of people, they didn't have a skill set to bring to the business,
Mm-hmm.
And I see that a lot in my group. Actually, I see a lot of agents that they're brand new, they've done less than 15, 20 transactions a year, and they're just trying to make a living,
Right.
and they're getting like skinned alive by random training programs. So.
Yeah, and that's the part that's really crummy about this whole thing, is that there, like you said earlier, there's a lot of just shady people out there that are just trying to make a buck, when in reality, like we talk on the show, you do with your people on your group. Look, be honest and transparent, give them the real stuff so they can go out and become more successful. The reason I do it and the reason why you do it is because, yeah, I want to help people, but most of all, I want to educate these buffoons so that I don't have to do the whole damn deal. No?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The best video that I've done, and the one I get the most response of, is I broke down, I just did it simply on a notepad, and I broke down how to make $1 million a year in the real estate business. And the thing got like a few hundred views, like almost immediately. And agents have messaged me through Facebook, and they think it's like the most brilliant thing. I had an agent tell me they showed it to the office manager where they worked at an office meeting, and they said, "Oh no, it's not that simple."
Bullshit. Yes, it is.
I'm going, how much simpler can it be?
2 plus 2 does equal 4. It does. Just follow the same path.
So, but a lot of stuff what I'm doing right now is I'm preparing my business for 2017. So we got 90 days left. So I'm not saying don't. I want to finish 2016 strong, but I've been reviewing my goals, reviewing where I'm at. I've been reviewing everything because I want to make sure that January 1st, I'm like in just a great position to be able to hit my 2017 goals, or possibly be ahead of my 2017 goals.
Don't you mean January 2nd? Because January 1st is National Hangover Day.
Yeah, but what's going to happen is, when you work really hard, you don't have time to be hungover. That's the problem.
No, that's so true. Very, very true. I'm talking to the average agent. The average agent.
Yeah,
okay?
Yeah, the average agent. I want to be able to quit the business sometimes. At some point or another, maybe.
All right. Well, let's, Greg, what do you say we give some people some shout outs, and then we'll dive into how to actually get your business ready for 2017.
Yeah, man, why don't you lead it off? I am going to get situated over on this side real quick.
Okay. All right, so number one, obviously check out Jason's Facebook group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work. Easy to spot because the word really is in all caps, which I still find funny. So there's always, there's a lot of Facebook groups and stuff out there, but like Jason, you're putting out some really great content onto the page, and there is some really great interaction going on, and go join that page, check it out, see what the content is, see what the interaction, the community is talking about, and definitely interact with Jason so you can stay in touch with him and get all the stuff that he's putting out, because we're going to get into some really cool stuff. And it's probably going to hit the Facebook page in the future, the stuff that you put out on a consistent basis. But for our side, as far as shout-outs and things, just go to McDanielRealEstateSystems.com, guys, and all the links for Greg's favorite scripts are there. That's a free PDF download. And then the training product that we put together last year on how to really dominate your farm is all there. That's like 8 hours of content. There's a couple bonus videos that Greg really went in depth on Zillow and how to run events, and just some stuff that we wish we could go super in depth on the podcast all the time, but it's just not the right forum. And so me and Greg really just locked ourselves away, and it was just the two of us, and recorded the best stuff that Greg has on farming and put it all into one thing. So all the links for that are on McDanielRealEstateSystems.com. And then we always want to mention our friends at Homing In. That is a way for sellers to request real home valuations from agents in their area. So if you go download that, there may actually be seller leads waiting for you for free. It's free for both sides to download. But right now, homeowners are finding the app faster than the agents are. So there may be sellers that have requested valuations, and there's no agents to respond to them in your area. So check out the app. Doesn't matter what device you're on. You can even look it up on desktop. But pop in your area and see if there's seller leads waiting for you. I know, Greg, you're starting to get some pouring in your area too.
Yeah, I have 10 right now, and I noticed I just got another one. I have to follow up with that. Okay, I'm going to go through by first names because the deluge of people that are hitting me up is awesome, but it's impossible to stay up with everything. Jimmy, dude, super cool. I'm glad you reached out for the coaching, man. That's awesome. So we have Crystal, Felicia, Neely as always, Delphina, Thomas, Dan, Shannon, Cherie, Christina, Paul, Michelle, Mike, Christian Peters, what up, player? Sarah, Stewart, Jonathan, Mike, Amanda, Robert, Chris, Al, Christopher, Lola, Marie, Sandy, and Larry. Always fun to see you, my friends. And then let's see here. We have Laura, Sylvia, Brian, Susan, Tracy, Jamie, and Tina. So you guys are amazing, and those are just a few of them, guys. The McDaniel Challenge, we are booked up until April 18th, guys, and my next spot is April 19th. That is a Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, an hour to 2 hours of free coaching. Do not wait if you guys want to get on. We'll talk about that more at the end of the show, but it's an hour free of coaching. There's no strings attached. Just like what Jason does, we give everything away for free because we love you guys, but we'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah, it's funny. Right before we got onto the podcast, I was talking to a financial advisor who I'm helping start up his own podcast, and I was telling him the story of Greg and the McDaniel Challenge and stuff, and he's like, well, what does Greg sell? I'm like, really? Nothing.
My body.
Yeah, then why is he doing the call? Because he likes it, and because we know that helping people will eventually pay off dividends down the road.
Mm-hmm. Like, jab, right hook. You know, maybe I'll should do these those calls topless on a video cam. Huh?
No,
I
that's
got
a horrible
weird.
idea. Anyway, Jason, let's go back to you. All right, so before we dive into like the actual business planning stuff, can you give people an idea, like especially those that don't know you? So if they're not already been following you on the Facebook page, give us an idea of the structure of your business and where are clients coming to you right now, and then we can get into like how you're setting yourself up for next year and what people can learn from that.
Yeah, so my business here really the last couple of years was the way it was set up was basically it was me, a part-time assistant, and a buyer's agent. And basically I would get on the phone from about 8 till 11 in the morning, and I'd make calls like crazy and set appointments and go on listing appointments in the afternoon. So and basically what was happening was you get signs out there in people's yard, you get listings on MLS that naturally syndicate, you're going to get buyer leads. So basically I was siphoning those off to a buyer's agent, because I typically work with very few buyers myself. I mean, it's either got to be somebody I know or friend or family, family member or personal referral, basically. And everybody else goes to a buyer's agent. And even those friends and family members, I try to get those to a buyer's agent too. So that's
like,
really
introduce you to someone I think you'll really like. Like I'm a little weird. Definitely work with
yeah, I don't like to ride in the car with people or do all kind of stuff. But
and what if they sneeze in the car, a closed area? Oh, the germs. It's horrible. I can't Perel the air. I can't Perel the air.
Well, I realized, like, I've known for a long time, like, I'm the world's worst buyer's agent. I don't want to talk to you about what color the bathroom is. I can't wrap my head around it and do it, I show you 2 houses and I'm going, hey, so which one?
so your personality types, your D is your dominant. I'm going to go with. You're like, look, bitch, either pick one A or B because I'm not showing you C. That's
pick
it.
A or B. I don't have time for this. But so I kind of learned that a long time ago. I'm just not good with buyers. I just don't have the patience and stuff. I'd rather be on the phone and making calls and meeting with sellers. So I found a buyer's agent that was good at that. So this year I'll close. Just under 100 properties. Nice. Right about 100 properties, just depending on how we end up. But what I'm doing for 2017 is I want to increase my production. I want to build more of a team, but the team that I'm building is probably a little different than. You see a lot of models out there and they talk about, I was closing 100 deals a year and I have 15 people on my team and each of us close 4, or 6 or however those numbers work. I want to actually create a profitable team. And so I had a lot of, I'll call them assets because I don't know a better word. Like I had a really big Facebook business page out there that was just being really underutilized with And so I started like testing things out on that. And so I'm in the process of, I've generated a lot of buyer leads. So I'm in the process of hiring additional buyers agents. So, and just refining some of my systems, some of the systems with my assistant, some of the products and services I'm using. So my goal is typically I carry around 50 listings, 50 active listings. Right now I'm down a little bit, but at the end of the year, like by January 1st, man, I've really been working hard, really been making a lot of calls, and I'd like to be around 90 to 100 active listings.
Wow. Damn, seriously?
Yeah. I mean, wow. I listed 7 properties last week, Greg. I listed 7 properties in a week.
Can I sublet you? Can you come over to Cali?
you know, but like I talked to you guys in California, and I'm jealous because, like, man, I'm getting like $3,000 a transaction. You guys are getting like $30,000 a transaction. You know, so it's yeah. I mean, so you know, man, I gotta work a long time to make $30,000, but so for me, I gotta really focus on numbers and doing a lot of volume, just because of the market I'm in. You know, in my market, once you get over $200,000, there isn't a lot going on. So I'd like to end the year. With as close to 100 listings as I can get. But then I want to. I'm setting myself up for 2017 with buyers agents and stuff like that, because next year I'd like to be closing between 8 and 10 buyer transactions a month. So that's what my goal is.
All right, so let me ask you this. So when just in the mental process of saying, okay, well, I want to double the number of listings I'm taking and selling and all this stuff. So what's the mental process you put yourself through to figure out, okay, how am I going to actually generate and then close double the number of leads, essentially?
Well, I mean, the number one thing you got to do, you got to track your numbers, because that's going to give you the basis for where you're at. So what I did was I really started tracking my time. Like I've consistently take about 12 to 15 a month, but I really need to up that so that I'm taking like, well, for the next 3 months, I roughly need to take about 20 to 25 listings a month to get to that goal of 100 active listings, right? Okay. So I'm only taking one every business day. I mean, what else do you really have to do, you know? If you're not working with a buyer and a seller, your job is like to go find a buyer or seller.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know what these other people are doing. You know?
I mean, yeah.
So yeah, you got to go through the drive-through though, because you don't have time.
That's right.
But so you start tracking your time, the actual number of calls you're making, the number of calls you're getting a listing, and I don't do the same thing Greg does, where I'm typically calling expireds for sale owners with drones. I've called notice.
Well, you actually have them to call, Greg. They're not
exactly.
in the market at all. So yeah.
You know, but like, I mean, like I'm calling notice of evictions right now. I'm calling cheap lot listings, and I've got a builder that I'm working with to do to-be-built homes. You know, like I'm getting really creative with a lot of stuff where I'm finding people, but primarily for sale owners, expireds, and withdrawals are my 3. That's my 3 main sources of business. Yeah. And so one thing I need to start doing is I need to stop wasting time in the morning, because you know, like I'd plan to call from 8 to 11, but sometimes, man, I wouldn't get started till 8:30. You know, I'd have to go, you know, instead of making coffee at home or wherever at the office, you know, I'd have to stop by Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts and waste 30 minutes. Right. You know, so I'd get started like about 8:30, and then I have the habit of, hey, once I set an appointment or once I set a couple appointments, man, I'd go start doing something else. You know, I'd play around on Facebook for 30 minutes. I'd, you know, think about what the next.
You deal with what every other agent deals with, the call reluctance.
Every other agent deals with.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between me and like the other agent that's right down the street is I actually have a sales system. You know, like when I talk to somebody, I set an appointment. I immediately send them my pre-listing package. They get the net sheet. They get they get all the listing paperwork. I mean, they know that I'm showing up to do business with them. So that's the biggest difference between me and just the average agent out there. And 2, I've been making these same calls for 12 or 13 years. So like once you've been doing it with the same scripts and the same dialogues for a certain amount of time, all of a sudden, you know all the answers to all the questions, you know how to overcome all the objections. So a lot of these agents that are, you know, they use my script for 30 days, and then they use Greg's script for 30 days, and they go use a Mike Ferry one for 30 days. Man, every time they switch, they have to overcome that learning curve again.
Yeah.
You know, they have to learn all the answers to those questions again. They have to learn all the objections to those questions. So that's the biggest thing I see is agents don't hang in there long enough doing one thing. They change as soon as they think it's not going to work. They change. I mean, this takes like true like pig-headed discipline. And but I have the same distractions. I have the same stupid things and stuff that everybody does. But I need to take control. I need to take a little bit better control of my prospecting time is number one. I need to take a little bit better control of my days worked because I've had to have it too. Me and my girlfriend we'd go out of town for the weekend, and that 3-day weekend would turn into a 6 days of me doing nothing, kind of thing.
You mean like the prep day, the recovery day, and then I don't really feel like prospecting, so I'm going to catch up on paperwork day?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to catch up on paperwork.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
But a lot of us, and me too, like we need to get rid of those like non-productive things because honestly, there's only a few things that are like productive in the real estate business, meeting buyers and meeting sellers, that's it. So for me, like once you wrap your head around, that's really your only job, is to do that. Your job really isn't to, I'm not saying you can't get business from these things, but your job really isn't to blog. It's not to go out and do Instagram. It's not to go out and do, all this stuff that we fill our time with, Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing agents need to do, that and track their numbers.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, so let's boil that down a little bit. So two questions on that, actually. So the first one is, in terms of the wasting time and things like that, did it really like I think for most agents, and even for myself, I struggle with this. I mean, I'm not the personality type that naturally wants to pick up the phone and call someone up out of the blue, so I deal with call reluctance just like we all do. And I think that ends up being a big part of why there's so much, shuffling of paperwork and checking Facebook and all or just doing the back end work of real estate instead of prospecting. After 12 or 13 years, do you still deal with that, or was it more just getting comfortable in real estate?
Even more now. I mean, it's easy to get complacent, sometimes, man, I get up in the morning and I go, God, I'm sick of hearing people's stupid excuses. Just let me list your house and sell it, but, you find new things to take up your time. I mean, but I mean, really what we all need to do is we need to tie our goals and we need to tie our daily activities to something that's emotional. Everybody talks about the big why and all that stuff. I mean, my big why is a paycheck often, but but we really need to have like something that we've emotionally tied it to. Like for me personally, like over the years, I've developed the mindset that I actually feel guilty when I don't make calls today. I feel guilty, and that's how we all need to feel, and we need to make ourselves feel that. If we had any other job besides doing real estate and we didn't show up for 3 days in a row, we would not have that job anymore. Yeah. I mean, and most agents, dude, we don't show up to the office for 3 days. You walk in and lenders delivered donuts. It's like you got rewarded. So, I mean, but that's the biggest thing is that we actually need to develop the mindset that we actually feel guilty when we don't perform our daily activities and we don't get up and prospect or do those things.
Well, that comes from, so that the guilt of not performing comes from the commitment on the front side to do it.
Of course.
And so you've made that commitment, and you know what your goals are, and you know what numbers that you want to hit, and you've boiled it down to the exact adjustments that have to be made on a daily basis. Most agents don't go number one. They definitely don't go number two. And then number three is they don't, once they know the specific adjustments that need to be made, they don't 100% commit to making the adjustments. And then that leads to the sliding back and going, yeah, I was just thinking about making that change. I was just thinking about prospect. I wasn't really serious about really skipping Starbucks in the mornings. I really need my Starbucks. And so then there's no guilt, right? It relieves us of the guilt. So I love that. But yeah, you have to make that commitment to actually make the changes in order to feel the guilt. And most agents don't get to that point of the commitment, therefore they don't feel the guilt.
Yeah, you got to have a ritual, I'm a big Tony Robbins fan. Tony Robbins talks about, getting yourself into state, I see Greg and I see you guys do it. You're getting ready to start making calls. You got music playing. You got, whatever you did in the morning before you got there, and a lot of agents they've never set up that ritual for themselves. And that ritual, though, that's what helps me like get going. I get up, I walk the dog, I make coffee. I've got these things that I do, and that kind of puts me in that state of mind to go, hey, I'm gonna go take over the world today. We need to make $100,000 today. Yeah.
Well, the other thing is that, Tom Ferry, he has a saying that I love a lot, and it's very simple, and it's a good way to put yourself in check every single day. Are you interested or are you committed? Which one are you? Now, I'm pretty damn committed to taking my next breath. That's just gonna happen, all right? And you're gonna do anything to make it happen. But some people, are just kind of interested in that, mental masturbation of like, ooh, $100,000, ooh, $250,000, that feels so good. But it doesn't do anything for you at the end of the day because it's not going to put dollars and cents in the bottom line. I was talking to an investor yesterday, and he's like, look, all these people are talking about buying my lots, but you know what? There's a whole lot of this. And then he took out his wallet, and he was just like, but there's not a whole lot of this, and then get interested in it. So ask yourself, are you interested or are you committed? Which one are you going to do? Because I'm committed to doing my calls because I have all of you that are watching me, judging me. And you're going to say, Greg, you did it or you didn't do it. So who's going to be that judge for you? Please don't make it your spouse. That is a surefire way of ending relationships very quickly. Your wife, like, honey, did you make your calls? You're like, shut it.
Yeah, that's true. But I love the other thing I loved about your the story, Jason. Like you said, you started posting things on Facebook to hold yourself accountable. That's something that we'd really like to encourage more people to do. I wish more people did it in the sense of actually setting up little mini offshoot Facebook groups with one or two other people, and then finding someone that they can really laterally hold themselves accountable. So I mean, some of the top people in the we all know this. The top people have their own real estate coaches or business coaches. If they get to a certain level, they might be mega entrepreneurs that are coaching them on getting to the mega level. But they have someone that they can really hold themselves accountable to. But individual agents, unless they can come up with $1,500 a month, they never have that person. But you can develop those relationships on your own. Jason, you found a way to do it with a group of people. In the sense of publicly declaring what you're going to do, publicly sharing what you're doing, and then committing to it. But every one of us can do the same thing on that micro level.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I mean, all of us can do that. I mean, it doesn't have to be any type of coaching. I mean, a lot of agents don't, they're brand new, man. They don't have $500 or $1,000 or $1,500 to go spend on a coach to tell them to get to work today. But man, if they go in my group or your group or whoever and says, hey, I want an accountability partner for Tuesday, they can have one in the next 15 minutes, Yeah.
You know what? There's something I do for myself, and it's 100% free. You don't need any other human being on planet Earth, and this is what I do. If I make a commitment, it's like making a promise, and I hold myself personally responsible for that promise. And I don't keep a promise to myself. Then how can I hold a promise to anybody else? How can anyone ever think that I'm going to keep my promise to them? So like when my alarm clock goes off at 5 a.m., man, I am up because I promised myself I would get up. I made that decision. So hold yourself accountable, guys, and view it as if you're breaking a promise to someone who's very special to you, because yourself should be the number one most special person to you in life. Try it and just see how that feels when you break a promise to yourself.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you know what I told an agent? I said, think about when you start planning your goal and planning your next year, put something in there that's emotional, Like if you want to take your kids to Disney World, make sure that's factored into your goal and the income you need to make. And, buddy, if you're not going to make your calls, that should be something you think about. Hey, if I don't make my calls today, am I still going to be able to take the kids to Disney World,
I actually tell people this. I say when I do my coaching, my free McDaniel Challenge coaching, I say this. They're like, well, I'm not, I need an accountability partner. I'm like, you got kids? They're like, yeah. And I'm like, good. Think about this conversation. You know what, Bobby, Susie, you don't get Christmas because mommy couldn't sit her butt down and do phone calls. How'd that feel? And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, there's your motivation. Get to it, kid. Pat them on the butt and get them out the door. But
it's similar because kids are also a big part of my why, in the sense that I would like to take other people's kids and I would like to pick them up and take them to Disney World because that's the other side of the country from me. So that's very important to me that I have that built into my income, that I can take other people's annoying kids and ship them off to another amusement park.
But Matt, you just got back from your first time at Disneyland, buddy. How was Mickey? Did you get a picture? Did you get the ears?
I did not get a picture. We were in and out in 4 hours. It was good. And it took only 17 and a half hours to drive home from LA to San Diego.
Oh, man.
Anyway, So there was another aspect of that, Jason, I wanted to get into, because you started off by saying that, in prefacing it, in order to kind of set yourself up for the next year, you need to understand your numbers, and it's a great time to start tracking them now. But I know you're a low-tech guy. You're really not interested in the latest, greatest technology. You're not interested in an app to track these things. I know that. So how do you, Jason, track your numbers easily and simple?
For me, like, well, I use RedX, and I'm typically calling expireds for sale by owners, and I'm typically calling from RedX, so from their Vortex platform. So for me, it's easy. I kind of do it all from there. So I have a headset. I log in. I log into their dialer. They have a dialer, and anyway, I push go and just sit there and wait for somebody to answer the phone. So so I usually do a couple hours of that, and then I have an hour that's follow-up, and my follow-up's a little bit less automated, but I want to do 3 hours of calls. Typically, I know that if I call 100 people in Myrtle Beach, like if I call 100 expireds, I'm going to get something from that. You know what I mean? So that's just like a default number usually I go to, but typically, and this is for me, if I actually talk on the phone to about 8 expireds, 9 expireds, I will get a pretty decent listing appointment, out of that. So for me, I kind of use those numbers, one out of 100 people I talk to. So I am pretty low tech. I don't use Mojo Dialer, just because in my market we don't have to. We got a lot more expireds. I'm not really truly cold calling. I'm calling a little bit more warmer lead. So that's really how I track mine. I track a lot based on time. I track a lot based on total number called. But honestly, I just kind of guesstimate my numbers sometimes when I'm planning for this stuff, because I'm not doing it all through a dialer like you guys are.
Well, yeah, and it sounds like you're going kind of off the fingertip feel of, do I feel like I was 100% committed today? Was I all in? Was I all in mentally?
Of course.
And then if you know within yourself, hey, yeah, I made some calls today, but I wasn't really pushing it, and I wasn't really, I wasn't getting after it. I was letting some time space, kind of come between calls. I was messing around a little bit on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you could also just track, like, the number of days where you felt like you were on and really committed, and then versus the number of days where you were letting yourself slide. I mean, that'd be an easy metric people can track too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
So we talked about metrics. We talked about, in terms of number of calls and all that stuff like that, and then we talked about rituals, right? So those are 2 aspects. So what are some of the other aspects that people need to take into consideration to set themselves up for a successful 2017?
Man, if agents would just go through, and I do this myself, if they'll go through and look at like the next quarter, how many days are you actually going to work during the next quarter? That's a big one for me. Like I can't plan 6 months out.
Fourth quarter, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can't plan 6 months out because, God, I don't know what I'll be doing in 4 months sometimes, But planning 90 days is pretty easy. I mean, you kind of, at this point, you guys already kind of know what you're going to do for Thanksgiving. You got a good idea what you're going to do for Christmas, You got a good idea what you're going to do for New Year's. And so go through your calendar, figure out how many days you're actually going to work, and then figure out how many listings you need to take, per day or per week that you work. And it's easy to break it down that way. And I mean, I've done that. I mean, out of 90 days, I mean, roughly, I've got planned that I'm going to work about 60 days out of the next 90. Because I'm probably going to have to work some Saturdays to hit my goal, but and go on appointments, Saturdays and Sundays sometimes. But I've roughly got 60 days that I'm planning to work, and I need to pack a lot into those 60 days. So we need to look at our goal, look at the number of days we're going to work during the quarter, during the month, and plan according to that.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea. I really like the whole 90-day plan. And I've heard, never really talked about it, quarterly plan. It's always like, what are you gonna do for the next year? Your perfect week, everything else. But 90-day, it's manageable, but it's long enough to make change.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we can have a 2017 goal, but you need to break that goal down and then break it down even a little further to figure out. You almost need to figure out what you're doing every day. Actually, that is what you need to do. You need to figure out what you're doing every day. How many hours am I going to prospect on Monday? How many on Tuesday? How many on Wednesday? What hours am I actually going to make calls? Like, am I going to make calls from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m.? Or, hey, I'm going to take off Friday, so I got 3 hours of calls. I need to figure out where I'm going to put them to hit my goal,
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of agents never really do that, never break it down to those basic numbers.
kind of like how to make $1 million by making simple, small decisions every single day. The one thing I'd like to think about, everyone who's watching this right now, I don't care if you're watching it live with us, and those of you who are, thank you. Or if you're watching it on the replay, if you're watching it 5 years from now, think about it right now. You are the sum total of every single decision you've ever made, big or small. So if you like what you're looking at, great, let's refine it more. If you don't like what you're looking at, let's look at it analytically and be harsh on yourself. Where can you cut out the fat? Where can you honestly put more work in if you want to achieve the goals? Now, if you don't want to and you just want to kind of make yourself feel good, but it's kind of like buying a book and then putting it on the shelf and never reading it, then go ahead, disregard everything I'm saying. But if you really want to change, just keep in mind, you're the sum total of every single decision you've ever made in your entire life is right. This very second is who you are. It's your decision to make.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you got to get tired of something to make that change,
Well, you know what? I'm actually doing that. I'm actually making a major shift in something in my life that I've discussed with my team, and I'm going to be eliminating something. And it's been something I've had for 3 years, and I really enjoyed it, but I don't enjoy it anymore. And it's, you know what? It's going to add another 6 hours back into my week for prospecting to the bottom line to achieve my goal.
Yeah.
You know? It's a big thing, but it's hard to look at yourself and be critical because it's so easy to criticize someone else, but it's so hard to be critical of yourself because you don't want to make yourself feel lesser than the other human being. You want to find faults in them, but if you flip that on its head, start viewing yourself as the inadequate one or the one that can't show up to the table like everybody else, well, then you can make changes. It's like wanting to date this perfect male or female, depending on what you like. But you shouldn't look at what they are. You should look at what they want in you. Then turn yourself into that person. And that can be for your business plan as well. Always be trying to better yourself.
Yeah.
That's
true.
true.
Is asking, I think Brian Trachel said this in regards to LinkedIn profile, but it goes to everything else too, which is to look at yourself and the way that you present yourself, both online and off, and just ask yourself, would I do business with me?
Mm-hmm.
And if the answer is anything less than absolutely, then you have things to fix, and you know where to start, and that's okay. I mean, let's talk just briefly in the last few minutes that we have left, Jason. What are some of the things that you see? Just we don't have to go super in depth on any of them, but what are some of the things that you think holds back the average agent from just putting a plan together, and especially putting a daily ritual together? Because that's really what it comes down to. It's what's going to affect your daily action. So what are some of the it all comes down to those little data points of fear, I don't quite understand this, and I don't really know about that, and I really don't know how to really do this. What are some of those things that hold people back that really aren't that big of a deal, but they let it hold them back?
Some things that are holding people back, I mean, some agents feel like they need all of the information. And what I mean by all the information is before they can make a call, they got to have the perfect script. They got to have all the perfect objection handlers. And I'll be honest with you, the objections I get in Myrtle Beach are probably completely different than the objections you guys get in California. I mean, some of them are going to be the same, but you can't anticipate every objection you're ever going to get.
There's not quite enough tofu and,
exactly.
and agave nectar in the fridge. The fridge has been incorrectly stocked with meat.
So I mean, there's so many objections you guys probably get that are different. But a lot of these agents, they get bogged down in needing that, or they need the perfect CRM so they can put people into it that they think is going to list with them. And honestly, man, if you got 20 or 30 people that you think are going to list with you in the next 90 days, that's pretty solid. And you can keep track of those on a legal pad. I mean, but they get so bogged down in, exactly. I mean, agents get so bogged down in stuff that doesn't really matter. Having the perfect logo. I had an agent message me he messaged me last night now, and I think it's funny. He told me about how he's meeting a marketing firm to design a logo for his business. And I mean, this is a brand new agent.
Oh God.
And I said, dude, go on Fiverr, pay $5. And if you don't like it, pay another $5. But I mean, this is a big part of his day. I mean, he had a meeting set up for a presentation. And I mean, dude, use that time for prospecting. Let somebody in India design that logo. Pick out one you like.
I mean, go to 99 Designs and pay $100, $200, and you get to pick from all these different designers. Who gives a shit what your logo truly looks like? If it's generally okay, get your bitch ass out the damn door. Yeah. And Monday, turn left. On Tuesday, turn right. Hand out your business cards to 25 people every single day. Smile. Don't call their mama fat. Kick them in the shins and keep moving. You're gonna make some damn money.
That's right.
I'd like you to point. What, Greg? What is your logo?
What is my logo?
Do you have a business card handy?
I do.
This gives me great joy anytime I see this.
Why? That is my logo right there. It is me looking like a toddler, and then my Terry, and in the middle my father, and then Chris, our business partner, and that's us, man. That's it. That is our logo. No, nothing super.
Yeah, that hasn't changed in like 17 and a half years.
And people still buy homes from us.
Yes,
so
they do.
suck it, Trebek. You just get out there.
Suck it, Trebek.
I bet not one person's ever said, Greg, I'm not going to buy a house from you because I don't like your logo.
No, they actually say, Greg, gosh, you're so much better looking now versus then. I'm like, what, you call me an ugly duckling? Damn. No,
yeah, but I can totally see that. It's one of those things where they're avoiding the real work. Because if it was just an issue of keeping track of who to make the calls to, I've pointed this out several times on the show that Michael Mayer, long before he wrote the 7 Levels of Communication, the way that he tracked all the people he needed to call and his hour power and all the different people he needed to call and follow up with, it was all tracked in his Google Calendar. He just had like stacks of people just, hey, call this person, call this person, call that person, and then every day he'd open up his calendar. It was already written there. It's not, it's nice to have notes. I get it. It's nice to know exactly what you're calling for, and all that stuff is nice. But, Jason, you do develop a confidence after you've been in the business for a while, and I've noticed this with myself with just the ability to rapidly and quickly transfer from doing one thing to doing something completely different and being comfortable. It's all about the reps. It's 100% about the number of repetitions you've done it before, and the only way to get that is to screw up the first few times you do it. So the more you pick up the phone and you make that call that you're uncomfortable with, it won't be quite so bad that next time. And then you start to realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to have all the details right at my fingertips. It was really just call reluctance this whole time.
You know what?
Oh, yeah.
I actually just read a phenomenal quote from Jeff Latham, a good buddy of ours, been on the show a couple of times. But the great quote dovetails perfectly into what we're talking about. It says, life will only change when you become more committed to your dreams than you are to your comfort zone. Yeah. Love that.
Great quote.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right, so Jason, fill us in on 2 things. Number 1, where can people go to take like a step towards you? Obviously, there's the group. We talked about that. Do you want people to friend request you on Facebook?
Yeah, sure. They can friend request me on Facebook. My group, Real Estate Agents That Really Work, they can join that. And that's probably the 2 best ways, man. I did that, like as a joke, and then it just kept growing. And some guy said something about it was not grammatically correct, so I capitalized really. And so what do you think?
That's right. It's no longer a verb or an adverb. It's a proper noun. Oh, man. Personal pronoun. Anyway, okay, so Real Estate Agents That Really Work Facebook group, that's a no-brainer. And then, so you're in Myrtle Beach, right? So if people want to send a referral your way, which there should be plenty of them because Myrtle Beach is a resort area. So friend request them on Facebook. And then, Jason, do you want to give out your email or cell phone number so people can contact you?
You know what? Yeah, sure. My email address is jasonmorrismyrtlebeach@gmail.com, just all spelled out. And cell phone number is 843-455-7119.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. And Jason, you're going to be upcoming on a few other podcasts and webinars and stuff. So I know people are going to hear more from you. So I want to encourage people to go to the Facebook group and definitely join it and start interacting more. And there's a decidedly low-tech, no-nonsense approach to it. So if you are attracted to that mindset where you just want to get to work and start getting things done, you don't want to worry too much about people asking endless questions about what is the best CRM, and we all just want to jump off the nearest cliff. That's the Jason will smack that down. If I see another one of those, I'm thinking of these 17 different CRMs. Which do you guys use, and what's the bestest one?
8x5 cards. 8x5 cards and yellow pads, bitch. Just get out there and start meeting people. There you go. There's your answer.
So refresh everyone's memory on the McDaniel Challenge and how they should get in contact with you about that.
It's an epic experience, life-changing and altering. You'll be writing it in your will to their children that you spent time on the McDaniel Challenge, and that is why you are where you are. No, who cares? No, not really. But what it is, it's about an hour and a half to 2 hours of us getting together, talking. It's 100% free, all caps on that whole free thing. Just kind of like really for his, Jason's Facebook page. But it's free coaching, guys. Anything that's stopping you, blocking you, or hindering you from getting you to where you want to be, mindset, systems, prospecting, follow-up, whatever your issue is, let's talk about it, man. I'm not saying I'm the best thing since sliced bread. I'm just a guy that's been around a long time, okay? I've seen a lot of things. I've had the opportunity to learn from a lot of incredibly brilliant human beings. So there might be something I can do to help you. So guys, please don't wait any longer. Please contact me. Do not friend request me. It won't work. Facebook won't let it happen. But you can follow me. Oops, just hit the mic. Follow me on Facebook. Then you can see whenever I go live in the lead gen scripts and objections Facebook page. And I do live circle prospecting in there. I go live on my own thing, but you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to start doing a lot more. But that's neither here nor there. So just contact me, message me on Facebook. I'm really good at messages on Facebook. Or you contact me on my cell phone. It does work. I pay the bill every month. And the number of that is 925-915-1978. Again, 925-915-1978. Text or call me, guys. April 18th is the next of 2017, by the way, which is natural because it wouldn't. We're not going backwards on this. Is going to be my next opportunity for for us to talk and hang out. So please reach out to me, guys. Again, April 19th is our next time. I'm like, I gotta check that calendar. I think I booked something.
Just coined a new term. It's chalk. It's a combination of chat and talk. That's awesome.
We're gonna chalk it up. Yeah.
That's right. Oh, that was hilarious. All right. And then, guys, you can find me on Facebook, friend request, or message me, including during the show, guys. So if you want a question answered during the show, the best way to do that is to shoot me a message. I am super easy to find on Facebook. All you got to do is search for Pursuing Results, which is also the name of my podcast production company. So if you are looking to develop a local referral network, a podcast is an amazing way to do that because I can actually put you on the phone with people that will refer you business for the next, I don't know, however many years to come if you handle it correctly. So if you're interested in doing anything like that, just go to pursuingresults.com and check that out. And follow me, friend request me on Facebook, and you can also look me up on Snapchat at Pursuing Results. But that's it for us, guys. We are done. This has been another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Jason, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yeah, Jason, awesome.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. So on Monday, Travis Robertson joins us live in person from Long Beach from the CAR Expo, and that's going to be an amazing, amazing opportunity to chat with him about what separates the real deal $1 million producing agents from everyone else, and we'll learn his perspective on it, the income acceleration formula, and all kinds of good stuff. So we're going to be broadcasting from on location.
On site.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be streaming live on Facebook and the whole 9 yards. So on Monday, go to our Smile Time channel for Real Estate Uncensored, or you can just keep an eye on Facebook. You'll see us broadcasting live on Facebook with Travis in person, and so that we're super, super excited about that. That is Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you guys there, and until then, have an amazing weekend.
Love you guys. See you soon.